Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to be building a simple blog using Django. So this video is going to be in two parts. The first part, we're going to do everything we need to configure the blog, and then we're going to start with the posting of a blog and then showing all the blog posts. And in the next part, we're going to have some more features like getting only some particular words of the post right here, and then allowing the user to click on the post and read the whole post. So I hope you're gonna enjoy building this with me. And then let me show you a quick demo of what we're gonna build. So right here I have this post, and I can click on this post to read everything right there, and then it's gonna tell me the day and the time and the title and the post. A very basic blog. Can do the same for any other one, and then let's quickly read the last one. So now all these are being gotten from the database. Now if I come here and add a new post, let's say I just add some rubbish there and I hit save. Now that is saved. I come here, I need to refresh. You see that is automatically updated here. Now this is what we're going to be building in this video. And then this template we are using is a very basic template, as you can see. I'm also going to have the link to this template and the whole source code of everything we're going to be building in the description below, so you can have that if you want to check it or anything you want to do with it. I'm going to leave it in the description below. And having that said, I think we should just dive straight into this video. So guys, the first thing I want to do is to create a new Django project. So right here in this folder, I have this index.html file. Now this is the file to the template we're going to be using for this blog. So I already have this template done. So we're just going to be talking about mostly the backend functionalities. So I'm just going to import this template into my project. But first of all, I need to create my project. So in this folder, I'm going to create my project. So now I just copy this directory and I come into the terminal in my VS Code. I opt inside that directory, and then I can just okay, so let's open up the normal terminal to go into that folder. So say cd, and then now we can say Django-admin start project, and then we can say blog. So now this is going to create a new project in this folder named blog. So in a second it should do that. So that is done. If I come here now, I can see blog, and then in there also I'm also gonna go in there, cd blog, and I'm gonna say python manage.py start app, and let me name it posts. So I'm gonna start a new app and name it posts. So done. Now if I come into blog, I'm gonna see a new folder also named posts. So I'm done with this terminal. I don't need anything here again. So I'm gonna close that up. And then now what I just want to do is to open up, let me close this terminal. Let me just CLS, and then I can make this short and close it up. And now I just want to open that project I just created in my VS Code. So I'm going to open folder, and then so it should be in okay, right here in blog. Yeah, so blog and post. So I'm going to select folder, so it's going to open that up. Yeah, and good. So now I'm just gonna quit this, and then I'm gonna come into that folder, and I want to drag this index.html. I want to drag it into that folder. So now I have everything in here. I don't need any other thing from the folder. So right here I'm gonna start all the things I need. So first of all, let's run this our project and make sure that everything is working fine. So right in here, I'm gonna say python manage.py run server. So now this should run our project on the localhost 8000. Okay, now let me come into my browser and then go there, and as you see the default Django template, as you can see, it says the install works successfully. So let's head back over, can close this up, and now let's just start with the URL mapping. So I'm gonna come into posts, and then I'm gonna create a new file. I'll name it urls.py. Right in here, I'm gonna set up all my URLs. Now, if you don't know what a Django URL is, it's basically the different path you have in your website. Let's take, for example, facebook.com. So facebook.com is the main website. Then when you go to facebook.com/notifications, that's another URL. You can go to facebook.com/messages, that's another URL. So think about that in this project. So URLs is different parts in our website. So now let me show you how to configure a URL. So I'll say from django.urls import path. So this is just a default Django function that allows us to configure our URLs. So I'm gonna say URL patterns, it's gonna be a list, and I'm gonna say path, and when I leave it blank like this, it means the home URL. Now if I put something like notifications, what this means is /notification, our website /notification. But when I leave it blank, it means the home URL. So now I can say views.index, and I can give it a name of index. So this is saying that once a user comes to the home, it should go to the views.index function. So that means in this views.py file, it should look for an index function and then do whatever it was being asked to do. As we can see, we don't have any index function in view. We're going to have to create that. And first of all, we don't have views imported, so we have to say from views, or from this import views. So now we have views imported. We can say views.index, and then we just give it a name of index. Now that's it. And then right here, let's create a new function and name it index. It's gonna take a request. Now we want this to render that simple HTML page. But before we do that, if we just type return render, this is how to render an HTML page, and we do requests index.html. If we do this, we aren't gonna see this. It's either gonna give us an error or it's just gonna show us the Django default template. Now for Django to know where to get this index.html, we need to do it in a specific way. So in the root directory, we're gonna have to create a new folder and name it templates, and then we push index.html into template. So we want to move it. Now it is inside templates. This is how it's supposed to be. But we're not done. We need to come to blog and go to settings.py. So right here in settings.py, we're gonna scroll down to this, and we're gonna say base there /template. Now what this is saying is that whenever a user requires an an HTML page, it should go to the base directory, which is the root directory. Then it should go into the folder named templates and look for that exact HTML page. So when we're trying to render this HTML page, index.html, it's gonna request for this index.html in the root directory, and then it's gonna look for a template name, a folder named template, and then get that index.html. So now we have this. But again, let me scroll up to installed apps, and I have to add this app I created, which is posts. We have to add it there. So now I can save this, and now this can be rendered. So I can save this also and save this. But if I come here and hit refresh, boom, nothing still happens. And this is because we configured all this in our app. We need to configure it for our main project, so our project will know where to look for a URL. Now for us to do this, we're gonna say from Django.urls import path. We also have to import include, and then we can say path. When the user requires the home, it's gonna include posts.url. Now what this is saying is that once a user comes to the home, which is just the main website, it should include the home URL in posts.url, and posts.url is our app.urls, which is this. So it's going to look for something similar to this, and this is it. So we can close this up now. We come here to refresh. Boom, you can see now that we have this HTML page. We have everything set up. We have all the front end set up. Now I guess it's time for us to do the main stuff. So now what we need to do is to create a database that is going to store all our blog posts. So it's going to store the title of the blog post, when the blog post was created, and then the main body, the main text of the blog post. So we're going to come into models.py. We're going to create a new Django model. Let's say class, and then let's say posts. So I will say models.model, and now we can say the title should be equals to models.character field, and then we have to set a max length. Let's set the title should be like 100, shouldn't be more than 100. And then we have to do the same thing for the body, which is the main post. The body of the post is also models.character field, and then the max length you can set like let's say 1,000,000, because some blog posts might be who. And now the next thing we need to set is the date this post was created. So we can name it created_art, and then it's models.datetime field. And then for us to pass in a parameter, we need to import datetime. It's a default Python library. So we can say from datetime import datetime, basically datetime. So now we can just pass this datetime in here. So whenever this is created, this is going to be saved with it. It's going to get the current date and save it with it. So we'll say default. So default should be equals to datetime dot now, and then let's leave blank to be true. So now this is good. We can save this. Now we have our models done. And you know, in Django, whenever you create a new model or you add any changes to your model, you need to make migrations and migrate to the database. So let me create a new terminal right here, and then all I'm just gonna do is make migrations and migrate, which is python manage.py make migrations. Okay, make migrations. Yeah, it's updated that, and then python manage.py migrate. So this should migrate everything to the database. Good. So now, as you know, Django has a default admin panel which allows you to access all your database and everything about your site. To access that, we can say our localhost/admin. But you see, it asks us for a login, username and password, but we don't have that. So what we need to do is to just come into our terminal and say python manage.py create super user. So this is going to create a super user, so we can have our credentials to log in here. So we can say admin Now this is just the username, so say admin. Let's leave the email blank and let's give it password, and then yeah, so now we have this created successfully. We can use that credentials to log in. Yeah, so now we have this. We have our database. This is the users we have on our site. We didn't add authentication or anything complex. We're keeping this very simple. The only user we have is us, which is the admin. So let me just come back to the home. But we created this database of posts. Then why isn't it here? Now we migrated this model to our database, but we didn't save it or showcase it in our admin panel. To do this, we're gonna have to come to admin.py, and first of all import, say from .models import posts. So we have this model imported, and then we're gonna say admin.site.register, and then we're just gonna register that post. And then when I come here, I need to refresh. Boom, now we see posts. As easy as that. So now we have this database, which is very good. Let's just go ahead and create a new post, and then let's say title. Let's just say how to deploy Django project to Heroku. So for the body, I want to have this real post, so I'm just gonna go to my website, collect the blog post from there, how to deploy Django project, and then just gonna copy all of these. Basically, I'm just copy it to this place here, and then just gonna paste it right there, and then the date is automatically going to get the latest date, the correct time. So I'll save this. Now we have the first one. Okay, we don't need this. We do not need all this. Yeah, so in this post, so let's just save this. So we got that, and let's just create another one. What other one do I have here? So best way to get started with Django. Let's copy this, paste, and then oh my god, good, copy, paste, and save. So we have two. Let's add one more so we can use the database and showcase it right here. So go back, get one more, let me say installation of Python, get that, paste that, and then yeah, right here, and then we also paste this, and then good. Now we are good to go. So now we have 3 posts, we have 3 blog posts on this our blog, and now we just want to access everything right here instead of just having all this dummy data. And what we want to do is that once the user click, so in this title heading is obviously going to be the title of the post, like how to deploy a Django project, and this is going to be the date, and this is going to be just like maybe the first line of the main blog post. So once a user clicks on this, it's going to take the user to read the whole post. Let's go ahead and do that. So now we got all this. We don't need this again. No, we don't need this again. Yeah, so now what we just need to do right here, we can open up our index.html. We're gonna need that. So we're gonna make this dynamic, all these posts dynamic. Right now it's just static post that is there, which is just this, but we're gonna get all this from our database, so we won't be writing this. So to do that, first I have to import that our model. Say from .models import post. So now we have post imported. We can access all the data or all the objects in that post. So we can just say posts should be equals to post dot object dot all, and then we can just pass it right here and say posts, and then say posts. Now this should be a variable, so posts. So this particular line is, we have a variable and we are giving it posts, which is this we imported, dot objects dot all. That means we are getting all the objects from this database right here. You can see this object 1, object 2, object 3. So we're getting all the objects, saving it here, and then we are passing it into our template, which is index.html. So we can save this here, and now when we come here, we can simply remove this. We don't need this. So now we're going to use a for loop. Yeah, from here. So we're going to use a for loop to access all those data. So we're going to say for post in posts. So for post in posts, this posts is this variable we pass to our index. So now we can access it as a variable. So I'm saying for post in posts, instead of writing title heading, now we want to write post dot title. In case you're wondering where we got this title from, this title is the title of the page of the post. That's what we assigned it in the model. So post dot title, and this should be post dot created at, and then some texts. So this should be post dot body, right? Yeah. But now instead of just dot body, we want to make it like maybe only the first 10 words. Let's say like the first 50. So we should be able to do something. Okay, let's leave it for now. Then we're going to change it when we see what our output is. So now we can end this for loop. Now when you are using a for loop in Django templating, you have to end a for loop. If not, it's just gonna go throughout the whole code beneath that for loop. So it's quite different from normal for loop in Python. You know, in Python we use indentations to know when to end a for loop, but here we use the end for to end a for loop. So now let's save this. I come here and hit refresh. Good. So we have Tomi's blog, we have how to deploy a Django project, we have the date and the exact time we created this, and then as you can see we have all the posts. So this is working pretty fine now. But what we want to change is that we want to change two things. First of all, we don't want all these posts right here, because if a user can read all the posts from the main page, then it doesn't need to click on that post. So we don't want all the posts. We only want maybe like the first 20 words or something like that, or the first 50 characters. And then as you can see, this is 11:30 p.m. this is 11:32. Now 11:30 is earlier than 11:32. Now we want the latest post to be on top. So as you can see, this is the oldest post. So if this is the way our blog is, that means the first post we write is the one that's always going to be on top, and we don't want that. So now let's go back in here, and then to make the latest post be on top, we're gonna say for post in posts reverse. This is very easy, just say reverse and it's gonna reverse it for you. So we got this, so reversed with a D. So now as you can see, the latest one is what is on top: installation, Django, best way, and how to deploy a Django project. So the latest one we had is one that's gonna come on top. So we have that. So guys, what we're gonna do next now is to make sure that it doesn't show all the characters of the post or the whole body of the post. So we're gonna do that in the next video. So I hope you enjoy what we did in this video. If you did, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you in the next one.